Rotten Tomatoes' high scores are viewed like gold dust in the movie industry, while its negative ones can genuinely sink a film before it's even come out. Because of how the site works, it's actually very hard for a picture to get 0%. That would mean that every major published review of a movie would have to be negative. In short, it means everyone has to hate it. It might be difficult for this to happen, but it's not impossible. Oh god. We've rounded up the ones that cost the most money, where budget info was available, in an effort to find out which studios wasted the largest amount of cash on a film that nobody liked. I'm Ewan, this is Whatculture, and here are the most expensive movies with 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. Dark Tide, budget $25 million. Clearly, there is only one good shark movie because between Jaws 4, The Meg, and this, well, The Meg is the highest scorer of them all. That is saying something, and I love me some Jason Statham. Starring Halle Berry as a one-time shark expert, Dark Tide sees her dip her toes back into the water for the first time since a member of a team was killed by a shark in a terrible, terrible accident. Clearly, that person must have done something really bad to piss off that shark because, FYI, sharks are really chill in real life. But hey, what could possibly go wrong? You got Halle Berry, you got a shark. Well, in the film, they get attacked by sharks, and in the real world, the film made zero money and made everyone very, very cross. Produced on a $25 million budget, Dark Tide pulled in just $1.1 million at the box office.
Film and TV is cool, but you know what else is cool? Protecting your privacy online. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description and get up to 76% off a 2-year NordVPN plan, plus 3 months free if you sign up today. I'd make that deal. Damn good deal.
Redline, budget $26 million. Not to be confused with the 2009 Japanese film of the same name, which has a much healthier 70% to boast on the website, Redline from 2007 borrows its name from the working title of The Fast and the Furious. To be honest, it basically borrows the plot of those movies too, but with less Vin Diesel, which means less familiar, and Coronas, and cool barbecues. It's not great. Nadia Bjorlin, who has been credited in a total of 7 films since 2002, plays a skilled auto mechanic named Natasha in the movie. She's also a talented musician and a street racer. Ooh, look at that CV. But it wasn't a B for Natasha. Reviewers saw right through this cheap imitation and were quick to lambast Redline for its bad acting and paper-thin plot. Me familiar, it ain't. Highlander 2, The Quickening. Budget, $34 million. Highlander 2, The Quickening from 1991, which acts as the follow-on to the 1986 sci-fi classic, Highlander. The film stars Christopher Lambert and Sean Connery as 2 immortals who can only be killed by decapitation. Lambert and Connery probably would have liked to decapitate their agents after signing them on for the sequel though, because it was quite rubbish. The first Highlander, for those who don't know, ended perfectly. Lambert's character Connor had defeated his nemesis and claimed the grand prize as the last immortal left standing. Stick a fork in it, folks, it's done. But no, it wasn't done. It was messed with mercilessly by the film's investors, who pumped an eye-watering 34 million smackaroos into this car wreck, changing huge parts of the established canon. As a result, Highlander 2 is regarded as one of the worst films of all time. This is a real shame, as the first one is still beloved to this day. However, when it comes to good Highlander movies, well, there can only be one. 1,000 Words, budget $40 million. Eddie Murphy is great. Whether in films like 48 Hours, Shrek, or Beverly Hills Cop, or with his stand-up, a lot of people have Murphy to thank for a lot of good times. So maybe we shouldn't be so hard on him for this stinker of a movie from 2012. To give 1,000 Words some credit, its premise is actually quite intriguing. Murphy plays a literary agent whose liberal use of language often gets him into trouble. He is then placed under a curse where he has a limit to the number of words he can use, forcing him to choose what he says very, very carefully. It's basically an Eddie Murphy movie where Eddie Murphy doesn't talk that much, which you don't have to be a genius to know that's not gonna work. Unfortunately, not enough words were said to draw attention to the movie itself, as it drew just $22 million on a $40 million budget and got a big fat 0 on the review aggregator website. Pinocchio, budget $40 to $45 million. This is not the Disney original, nor its modern-day remake, nor the Guillermo del Toro adaptation, but rather an Italian-language version of the story which released in 2002. This Pinocchio should have turned out a lot better than it actually did. It was directed by and starred Roberto Benigni, who won a Best Actor Oscar for his role in Life is Beautiful. Sadly, things turned out very ugly for Benigni when his movie was dubbed into English. The original version of Pinocchio 2002 went down alright in the director's native land, but it absolutely perished when it made the journey to the US. Benigni's voice was dubbed by actor Breckin Meyer, who was 22 years younger than him. This jarred massively, and the critics were not pleased. Pinocchio 2002 ultimately went down as a very expensive vanity project for the director, with a budget of anywhere between $40 to $45 million spent on earning a big fat 0 on Rotten Tomatoes. The Ridiculous Six, budget $60 million. Most of this 2015 Netflix production's whopping $60 million budget must have gone on the cast, because it is full to the gills with star power. Terry Crews, Jorge Garcia, Taylor Lautner, Rob Schneider, Luke Wilson, and Adam Sandler, who also wrote The Thing, all play half-brothers in this comedy western about the siblings attempting to reunite with their outlaw father. While their own daddy-o might be guilty of armed robbery, the film committed the ultimate crime of being bad. Critics don't tend to take kindly to Sandler's comedy, but this is his only movie on the site to receive a full-on dud, although Jack and Jill came incredibly close with 3%, and at least that gave us the gift of Dunkachino. Ballistic, X vs. Seve, budget $70 million. This film should score 0% just for its title. Like, what on earth does that even mean? Yeah, X and Seve are the names of the characters, but the audience doesn't know that before the film starts, and furthermore, they shouldn't care. And all of this is before we get into the film itself, which is about opposing secret agents Antonio Banderas, X, and Lucy Liu, Seve, teaming up to fight a common foe. Despite having two very cool stars as its leads, its lack of wit, charm, and its mind-bogglingly stupid action sequences meant that very few people were interested in seeing it when it came out in 2002. It made just $20 million back from its $70 million budget, a staggeringly low figure for a movie with two major stars of Banderas and Liu's caliber in it. As for the critics, Ballistic X vs. Seve has 119 reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, more than any other that has 0%. That officially makes it the worst reviewed movie across the entire platform, which is so incredible, it's kind of impressive. The Nutcracker in 3D, budget $90 million. Directed by Russian cinema royalty Andrei Konchalovsky, The Nutcracker in 3D is an adaptation of the beloved Christmas ballet in, well, 3D. It's a classic story. Young girl receives a magical doll turns out to be a prince, girl and prince save his kingdom from a giant rat. You know, everyday, normal, holiday, fun stuff for the family. Unless your auntie is a film critic, in which case she probably never speaks to you ever again. Professional reviewers hated The Nutcracker in 3D, calling it, quote, misguided, misconceived, and misbegotten. Criticism was leveled at Konchalovsky for messing with its simple story, and for it also being unsuitable for children. While a more adult version of The Nutcracker could have worked, critics felt like this piece fell flat in every aspect possible. This was not good news for the film's financiers, who put an ungodly amount of money into it. At $90 million, its budget is the largest on this list by far. Oof. Big oof, in fact. The biggest of oofs.